hello everyone, it's another Saturday live stream workshop Bananart with me. Well, yeah. Oh god, yes. Today, oh my, with that big topic of last week composition, which contained a lot of more art technical stuff, we're back to something a bit more equine. So yeah, body builds of Equestria. This topic came out of nowhere like 2 weeks ago, and everyone voted for it. It won by a landslide. So yes, hopefully I can be useful in this. It's just kind of browsing through what kind of body builds there are in the show. Um, Maybe I'll go a bit into the possibilities of that, and perhaps we can find some body builds that are missing, which I can already kind of tell now, slightly. But yeah, let's see. What will this be about? Well, basically, I gathered a bit of a list here of all the different body builds, and that's I'm first and foremost going to focus on the pony body builds here, like well, just ponies, leaving out the other kind of creatures which I've put under the other, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to fit those in this episode. There might be a different one for that, like griffins, mules, donkeys, horses, buffalo, bison, changelings, etc. All the other creatures that are non-pony or horses. I have included the horses here because they have appeared twice in the show. So, but I'll get to that. Excuse me. I'll get to that once I get to those. So, well, yeah, that makes sense. Anyhow, let's get this maybe started. Talking. Maybe I can get some drawing out. So yeah, the little list, normal. Well, yeah, that's basically normal, quote unquote. Normal is like your most common body build, kind of the standard, the default, the average size and shape that they have, which basically all of the main six have, and most background ponies, most other ponies, most secondary, most just about everything, they're everywhere. They're watching us. Anyhow, yeah, those. But the ones that are watching us even more are the princesses, of course. They watch you while you sleep, they watch you in your sleep, they watch you while you're active in the sun, of course, and all those kind of things. Yeah. And then I kind of included the horses with them because the princesses, or more specifically like Celestia, are the closest to the. They are kind of close to the horse ones, and horses have appeared twice, or technically once, because well, during the best night ever, when the mice turned into horses, that was the first occasion and such, but they are slightly different. They have a bit more pronounced shapes, like where Celestia's legs are kind of smooth like the others. The horses have more like the real life horses, kind of with the muscle, and then the thicker parts down here, kind of more defined shape. Including their body is kind of different as well in that regard, but they are represented in this show already. Maybe we'll see more of them in future seasons. So who knows? Maybe season 4. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, Saudi Arabia were the one occasion where there were actual horses present. Or well, it's assumed they were horses. So yeah, but yeah, basically this is their kind of main defining future. Anyhow, I was going to go through all the different topics first before I go into depth into each of them. Let's move on. Stallions. Stallions are quite close to the, or well, actually, along normal ones are not just the mares, but also the male ones, the stallions, and in this case, the stallion specifically aims at the ones that are more, that have a bigger muscular body than the other male horse ponies out there, because like Dr. Hooves and such, they have normal bodies similar to the normal ones, to the main six and the mares, but they are not mares, they are gentle colts and such, so maybe we should just call them gentle colts or something. But yeah, stallions, like I also put down the names, of course, here. Yeah, I also mentioned there Fleur de Lis, Luna, and such with princesses. But here, Stallions, Fence Band, Shining Armor, Big Mac, and kind of Braeburn. Braeburn is kind of in between normal and Stallion, kind of. He doesn't really have the big, oversized chest piece. He kind of is more like a bigger normal pony with some traits from Stallions. Such, but I'll put him with the big boys. He deserves that, doesn't he? Yeah, of course. Everybody's for Braeburn. Anyhow, moving on. Fillies and foals, double Fs. So yeah, fillies and foals, basically kind of the tiny ones. The foals I put here because they are kind of the same with the horse. They are there, but they've not been represented that often yet. Probably. Of course, the best one, AJ Foal, little AJ, more apple fritters. I'm still out of apple fritters, I still need to make more apple fritters. But whatever she needs, she gets. So, but yeah, other than that, the foals, like the cakes are the foals and such. And then the fillies are like CMC. I kind of went with fillies, kind of the same term that I use with the normal ones, kind of the average build for them. The most average body build, and then the faces. Usually it is the face or the head that is different, whether that is because they are a different gender or if they are just a different character. Like even different characters can have different faces. Like if maybe I should have had some pictures here, but like Shining Armor has like the eyes up here, for example, and like quite a straight face. Like his face, like his body might be the same as the others, as the other stallions, but like Big Mac, but the face or the head is usually different. Or the head is probably in the show the first thing that gets replaced if they want to give some pony a different appearance. This kind of looks more like Donut Joe, which I guess also fits in that list. Donut Joe, but yeah, like, and then the thing with Shining Arm is that you see both his eyes in this angle, but with most others you only see one eye rather than both. So yeah, this is kind of those. Shining Arm is slightly weird eyes, but whatever works. Anyhow, yeah, CMC, and then Babseed is slightly bigger. Babseed is seems to be a slightly older than the Cutie Mark Crusaders, but oh well. And then like the cold versions are like Button and Rumble. There doesn't seem to be a lot of representation of the male fillies out there. The colts. At least in show, like getting a bigger role. Same thing with Prince. Like with the princesses, there's no real stallion prince out there. Like Blue Blood, who I deliberately didn't put with stallion because it's Blue Blood, of course, right? Yeah, nobody misses him. Anyhow, yeah, but basically, like, there's not really a stallion with a body build that is the equivalent of like Celestia and such. Like the closest you get to that is the male horse from Saddle Arabia. That is, I think, the closest of a male version of that kind of sized pony horse slash horse pony horse pony horse horse pony pony horse horse horse. anyhow, yeah, Phillies Falls. And then after that, I went to the Elder. The Elders are have appeared quite a bit. The biggest one, probably Granny Smith, or well, not physically biggest maybe, but in name Granny Smith, of course. Apple Family all the way. Apple Family for overlords. Ooh, ooh. And then kind of the Apple aunts and such. Uh, and the old ponies from the retirement house and such. But yeah, elder are also like there's kind of the four categories of body builds, or kind of five if you count the stallions in, like the normal ones, the average sized ones, like the average age, from young adults to adults and such. Then the princesses, which are kind of unique, kind of feminine. Kind of the princesses are kind of the feminine, or bigger ones, and then the stallions are the other side of the normal. Like those kind of seem to be the opposite of each other, slightly. Um, if any comparison at all. And then the Phillies Falls, basically the younger ones, the younger than normal, and then the elder are the older than normal. So it kind of has quite a nice divide of age groups, like three kind of age groups out there, which they kind of focus around. And then, of course, there's the uniques. There's those that go off of that skill, that take it differently. Like they don't like the HX and such don't really seem to want to limit themselves, which makes sense. You don't really want to limit yourself to those specific age groups and styles, if you can, like if you have time. So then there's the unique ones, kind of who kind of stand out. The ones that stand out the most kind of are what I put down here, which is big and muscular. And I think you might have a slight image with that already. And small and thin, kind of, and anything in between, or a combination of that. And well, basically like snowflake and featherweight, which I guess is the reason why they get paired from time to time. Like snowflake is probably the one that is most defined in muscles. But other than that, there's also like the cakes. The cakes. Mrs. and Mr. Cake are like some of the more unique body builds. Like they represent, they kind of feel, it kind of feels like they represent an age group beyond kind of adult, the older kind of adult, but not exactly elder yet. Like the kind of the mother, the parents, age of the adults, kind of like Rarity's dad and mother, kind of the same thing. They kind of as well have that different, slightly different, matured. Thank you, matured age group. And then things like Pipsqueak, and oh, I forgot to put down here like snips and snails. Those kind of that stand out, that have kind of a unique shape, a shape. Whether that's because of the personality they want to add with it, with the kind of boost in personality it might give, or other than that. And then the other thing, which I already kind of mentioned, the other kind of creatures and such. Oh. So let's get to normal, shall we? Shall we start with there? Kind of going through them. They're the most basic kind of thing. Like with if there's anything, any pony body build you should start out with, is probably this one. They have quite a simple few proportions. Like their head is usually kind of the biggest, depending on the scene. It kind of varies a bit in the show, so you can kind of play around with it. But yeah, like the body, it's such, and then the legs are pretty straightforward. Oh god, I'm actually kind of failing with this. Slightly rushing it too much, maybe. Like like so. Like they are like the most common shape out there. So just kind of build it up with circles here. Kind of what I already did with one of my previous workshops. I think I kind of went through the normal body build already. So I'll maybe not focus too much time on this one. So yeah, kind of straightforward. Circles and just curved shapes. This is kind of one of the big future of ponies. The lots of kind of curves. Things are not that defined. Like the muscles are not really defined or anything. Like it's kind of default. And then, as I already mentioned before, the nose can be varied a bit. Like a stallion version will just have the kind of the different nose, but the body stays the same. Like the stallions here are more where the body changes. So there we go. The face different. And then of course, like with the stallions, the eye, you usually see one eye, and with the mares you tend to see two eyes at either side, and the shape, the size of the eye might vary a bit and such. But that's something you can kind of play around with. This, I guess, is a bit more focused around the body builds, I guess. And the thing with this one is that it's like this is a body build that can be applied to a lot of ponies. It doesn't really scream any personality specifically. Like you can apply just about any personality on this, and it most likely works and such. Well, next, like the princesses and such, a bit more thinner and elegant, which then kind of saying that kind of makes sense that they are mostly, or well, actually, just like unless you count the male Saddle Arabia one as one, but any of the princesses, they have kind of feminine shapes. God. So, and then with the stallions, they have kind of masculine shapes. Like they kind of build a body shape that fits the characters here. It goes a bit more into the personality. When it comes to greyhounds, oh god, it's slightly thus indeed the kind of the thin build and such. And I guess in a way you could maybe bring it back into kind of a stereotype world, as in thin and curved, like the S curves and such, and the thin waist slightly, or actually Celestia has slightly thicker waist than this, I think. But yeah, and then the tall beauties and such. And then Luna is slightly less tall, and then Fleur de Lis, and who else was there? Luna, Fleur, the mice, Cadence, of course. I knew I forgot some pony. Oh, poor Cadence. Always forgotten. Always on the background. Oh well, she has her own kingdom. Nothing to whine about. But yeah, they seem to have quite the curves going on. So kind of tall. Their neck is. Oh God, I haven't made a princess in quite a while. I think that's slightly noticeable because I'm kind of failing here. I'll just remove the horn for now. But yeah, basically there doesn't seem to be a real male representative of this. And if Prince Blueblood, his title, is anything to go by, they don't really plan on doing that either. Uh, I think like there's kind of the waves. You can kind of see a lot of waves in what I'm kind of doing here. I might be exaggerating it slightly here, but they have it slightly in the show, like kind of here these legs, like they and here the body, kind of thinly curved, slightly, and then the legs, like all the legs are kind of like just stretched, normal pony-sized ones. So, and then I guess the wings. I'll just go with this. And yeah, the the bodies kind of differ per princess. Like Cadence is different than Luna, and Luna is different than Celestia in turn, and such. Like the royal flanks being slightly varying between them. Like, and that's also something. Like when you create any bodybuilds like this, like kind of what was mentioned with Brayburn as well. Like, don't be afraid to just put some slight variations to it, like thinner. Like if anything, yeah. Let's go into the next one actually immediately, which would be a nice example, I think. Like if you a Big Mac's behind, like hindquarters is a bit round, like this, kind of thickly built, and such, and actually quite big as well, and thick everywhere. Like the legs are a bit thicker than average, and such. I might be slightly failing here in terms, but well, that's kind of Big Mac and most other stallions. I think. Um, I think they usually have their belly portion over the leg instead of the leg over the belly. That's something you can vary, and both things are known to be done in the show. Belly up or belly hit behind, in front or behind, kind of thing. So that's something you can play around with. And then the chest usually seems to go down a bit and such. And basically thicker legs. Oh god, this. Let's make you a bit smaller here. I should have made this from the side a bit. Let's redo that to kind of keep the angle at the same as what I did with the others. Which is stallions. Stallions, yeah, they kind of look chubbier. Like especially in the neck, you can kind of notice it. They tend to have a bigger curve all throughout the entire neck here. Kind of going on. Like big boned. They're just big boned indeed. Big boned Big Macs. Eating too much Big Macs. Of course, right? Yeah. And I'm really failing at this this body here. Yeah, I need a head. Here, let's just yeah. Oh god, I've goes to show I've not made that many stallions before. I tend to focus on the normal body shape. I guess on the mares, kind of because the mares are kind of in that direction, I suppose. Yeah. Blame. I blame monkey. I blame assassin monkey. Every pony slap him. Wait, what? Well, okay then. Moving back to the point I was trying to make, I suppose, before I got drifted off here. Anyhow, also now I'm with the hooves. A small detail that they tend to have, these stallions, is the little, the exposed hooves down below and such, which they kind of get emphasized a bit more here. So yeah, oh god, this hind leg is so freaking ugly. Oh well. I tend to go for ugly. Anyhow, going to the point I'm still trying to make. Like here's Big Mac kind of on the left, kind of the average, and then the thing what I was talking about was variation on existing body builds, which is of course perfectly fine. Like if you look at Shining Armor is a bit more sleek, a bit more chiseled. Kind of both in the face, kind of like his face and his entire, all his features are a bit less round, but still retain that big size of the stallion kind of thing. So like his rear is actually quite straight, like this, like his backside, and the inner side of his chest is quite like this, and then the front also slightly more streamlined, still a bit round, but a bit more like if you kind of look at the neck, what I kind of emphasized here is the curve. The curve just continues and continues, like under the neck here. And with Shining Armor's chin, like underneath the chin, with Shining Armor, the curve kind of bends straight again, forward, goes a bit forward again, rather than only going backwards. So that is one of the small little details or curves that they use to keep his chest big, but make it a bit more sleek and slim and such. Kind of the S curve going on at the front. That's kind of what they did with the Shining Arm, and the same in his jaw. Also, that kind of S curvature going on over there. So that is how you can take the big body build of the average stallion and kind of make it a bit more sleek and such. And I think with Shining Armor even they kind of adjusted the connection of the legs a bit to kind of slightly emphasize on his muscles here. Like again, the curve, like with the average stallion, the curve it's usually just one curve, one direction, one angle. But with Shining Armor, the curve tends to bend again over the same line, going in two directions, curving in two directions on the same line, kind of thing. So I guess it kind of makes sense for who knows what kind of training he has to go through during to get to the position of captain, and who knows what kind of motivation you have when Cadence is going to marry you. Yeah, that might give you some motivation, perhaps. I don't know, or maybe he's just under the influence of her magic. Like, work out for me, you stallion slave. Build your body. Wait, what? What am I talking about? I have no idea. Anyhow, let's move on, because some there's still plenty to go to, and I'm already halfway through the first hour, like half an hour basically. I'm already talking for half an hour, more than half an hour. Fillies and foals. So yes, fillies and foals. Oh god, now I realize again how much I fail to make different kind of body builds. Like in my gallery, this is a good wake up call that I have a lot of focus around the normal body builds. Although that is not that bad. That's okay. You can just focus on one and just forget all the others. Who knows? You can just focus on one. And the Flufflepuff, I guess, fits into the unique. Since your Flufflepuff is kind of in theory, a variation on the normal one. So, fillies. Let's go to fillies. Fillies, the thing, what they applied with fillies, which is kind of a general rule throughout industries, just throughout human psychology and such, is they change the proportions between the head and the body kind of including the legs as well. They either increased the head size or kept the head size slightly the same as normal ponies, but they decreased the body size. So the ratio between the head and body is a big head, which a big head usually creates the sensation of a younger entity, a younger person, a younger pony, kind of a baby looks, baby face, baby head kind of thing. So that's kind of when you're creating fillies, that is kind of the key thing to kind of remember, because in terms of body, they are somewhat the same as your normal pony. So like the legs are slightly the same, although just a smaller version, a bit quicker tapered, like it's just kind of squished. Like they tend to become slightly thin and thick, and I might be slightly making this too small, but I guess with fillies I kind of just do it on feeling. Like if something feels somewhat cute and such in proportion, that's already fine with me. And then again, like with the oh god, I just now notice how bad that nose kind of is. So just give them a little nose, and they usually have bigger eyes. Oh god, I'm so bad at eyes. But yeah, basically quite big eyes. Everything, they like the head and the eyes are pretty big in proportion in relation to the rest, and their legs also kind of big. Just kind of think slightly big, and kind of that is kind of what creates the sensation of cute, or the image of something cute, something being cute and cuddly and or something, and young. Kind of those are the main traits that are just kind of in general, not just with ponies but with humans, with just about anything, kind of in a human mindset. And then just as with the normal ponies, like the fillies are, as I kind of went through at first with the different age groups, three different age groups kind of being there. The normal, the average age, the fillies are the younger, and then the elder are the older, and then the princes and stallions are just variations kind of on the normal and such. And that kind of shows here, because if you look in the show, a little colt, a young colt, usually has the same, slightly the same treatment as they gave the normal pony. They just adjust the nose. That is one of the main traits that they change when switching between genders. There. Also, with what I also mentioned before is that it isn't. There hasn't really been a main character role or main character colt in the show before. Like, they've all kind of been background only and such, and like Snips and Snails kind of, but they are more like Snips, Snails, and Pipsqueak. Also, though they are they are unique. Like I put them there with the unique ones, so it doesn't really apply to this, but there's enough background ponies to kind of go by that this is kind of the direction they intended to go, and it just happens to be so that for Pipsqueak and Snips and Snails they went with different body types to kind of fit their personality slightly more, to kind of exaggerate their stuff, or just also just with Snips and Snails, just kind of it just kind of works, right? The thin tall one and the short stubby one, it just works. That formula is just kind of something that works, and I certainly don't mind. And then Pipsqueak, the little ball of fur rolling around, getting gobbled up, like nom, 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 nom. He makes squeaky noises when you nom his flank. And then of course like Chubby Diamond Tiara and such, and some other unique ones would be Twist and such, and which I guess goes under the uniques. But yeah, before I run out of time to cover some nice, interesting, unique ones, let's go to the foals. The foals are oh god, the foals are like the furthest they've gone in terms of exaggeration of those baby proportions, kind of thing. Like a giant head. Oh god, I might be making the body a bit too small here, but yeah, basically an oversized head. Like the proportion is almost like half of the size is the head and the other half is the body, which here with the fillies and such is slightly different, at least in my case, like about 1/3 of of their height is their head, and the 2/3 kind of that, I suppose. Slightly similar to normal ponies, in which case I should actually say the head should be like 2/5, or well, something like that, close to half of the size, but not quite there. And then with the foals, with the babies, with the cakes one and Applejack, baby Applejack, they just go there, and then suddenly they go with tiny eyes, with tiny undefined eyes and such, and it just works. Which those eyes make the head feel even bigger, and which I guess is quite important when it comes to babies. Like the head is it's simply quite big, and this is quite an exaggeration on it, but it works. It has proven to work, this version, and like I personally find this one slightly harder to do the body with, since they don't they sit quite a lot, I suppose, and I tend to try and make them sitting as well, and their body. There's just so much on such small scale. Oh my, is my stream dying? Oh my, as long as my recording is still going, hopefully it'll fix itself, and then I'll, yeah, let's continue but with falls, I guess with the fillies, I kind of mentioned the different uh, two different babies are genders, but with the falls, they don't really differentiate between the two. They, if at all, like I think with the little ones, they tend to differentiate only by the eyelashes, if I remember correctly, like 2 eyelashes or more for like female, and then 1 maybe for male, if any at all, I think. Which is also kind of counts for the others slightly. Usually the females have more eyelashes than the others. Just look at the rarity. She didn't think she had enough, so she just added more. Like never enough eyelashes. And then she loses 1 on a painting. And then she makes it work. She makes her hair work. Like fabulous. Anyhow, let's continue. Elder. The elder ponies. Those are quite interesting, kind of. Like they let's see now. I'm kind of trying to think of if there was a general body shape. With the elder ponies, they tend to go with a bit different approach. You kind of indicate their age. They kind of I guess kind of try to expose either the bone structure underneath by reducing the muscles slightly, but at the same time gravity with its effect on the skin. So the skin kind of plays a big role when it comes to the elders, like wrinkles and such, and faces. Like if you look at Granny Smith's face, she has quite some wrinkles going down and such, where it just droops down. The skin getting loose and such, and it's not just on the face where it kind of happens, like on the legs. I guess the face and the legs are some of the main parts where they show it, or at least some of the legs, like with the joints, the elbow position kind of, or well, on the front, like if this, let's actually see if I can transform these. Let's see if I can do that. It might not work at all, but we'll see. Like usually seems to be somewhat thinner. Yeah, I'm just going to remove a lot of this. Oh well, I guess I should have just started over. And now, yeah, the skin here kind of droops over the joint, things like that. So the bone structure underneath gets a lot more defined over the age. And just wrinkles added, like maybe in the neck. Like they're losing their muscle structure, and their faces, their heads are actually quite unique as well. That's also one of their big, the big parts of them, and then like back here they might add some more wrinkles, so just wrinkling everywhere in between the joints, just adding extra layers, like the skin is layering on top of each other. This already kind of shows that they're somewhat old, oldish, and then yeah, I guess the back structure can retain quite of its roundness still. So there's that, and then like with the face, they they can go for different things in the show. They tend to go for different things, but in general, they usually have the wrinkles like underneath the eyes. That's, I think, the main focus, and then with other parts they might play around with this with the mouth, kind of where it kind of dries up, less moisture in there, so it kind of curls, and like the lips kind of curling inside, I suppose. Kind of. I've not really. I might need to do some more like olden ponies or such. Oh god, this is looking creepy. And maybe like tired eyes or something. Like who knows. So this head is slightly backwards a bit. Like, yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt to make them slightly more along, like forward the heads, like bit more crouch forward or something like that, and then like just about anywhere where something might fold in over itself, like where the air attaches to the head, you can add in some wrinkles underneath that. Like you could maybe even like in the armpit area, you could add some things. And I guess from also what I've seen in the show, there doesn't seem to be a general rule as to what or the same rules that go with the faces of them here, with the straight nose for the stallions and the curved nose. That doesn't really seem to apply to the old ponies. Kind of, they might just the yeah, they just kind of go with. They're quite unique, actually. Quite a unique group of ponies. Like, I think there was this smaller kind of round-ish, and then some ponies are balding, but others are not. I think the only ones that are kind of growing bald are the old stallions, old male ponies and such. But yeah, in general, just these kind of things. So I guess this might be enough. Like, you can make them small and chubby and such, which is kind of what I want to go to next, going to the uniques and such, because now you've got all these are kind of already shown in the show, and then there's the unique ones, which kind of shows how you can do something different than the show. Like, you can take something from the show and just create variations on it, make them smaller, make them thinner or taller and such, play around with proportions. And I think that can be quite a good approach, just in general also, not just specifically ponies, but just with humans as well. Like, first learning kind of the average person, or the average realistic one, the most common one, and then building it up from there, getting familiar with that, and then you get familiar with the anatomy behind it, what kind of joints and everything they have, and then you can kind of play around with it especially if you're kind of familiar with like proportions of the head, bigger heads. And that is also already kind of a variation on it. Just increasing the head size, kind of creating a bit more kind of baby proportions. But you have to kind of bring everything in closer, perhaps to kind of keep the balance going. That's kind of maybe why they made the hoofs kind of bigger there. But yeah, then talking about fun little proportions, let's start with the smaller one, because I put down Snowflake and Featherweight here because they are kind of two extremes. To me, they seem to be kind of the two extremes in their categories. Like Snowflake is very big and muscular and such. And it kind of depends on how you look at it, of course. Like both of them are slightly more defined in their shape. Maybe if I not actually, yeah. Featherweight I think is slightly defined, although not as much as Snowflake. Like Featherweight has kind of the chin here. So Featherweight has a huge head. Compared to his body, he is very very top heavy. So here his body. This is kind of what it goes for, and then of course his mane there and such. So his ears are also just huge. Like they really like that's the reason why I kind of want to cover him. That they really went out with his proportions, and then his legs are so skinny, and thin. Such I might be making them slightly too thin, but that kind of goes to show you can play around with things like this, which I kind of in my recent upload I made the art with the Applejack sketches. That's kind of all I also kind of played around with. That just taking the leg, keeping everything the same except maybe the thickness. Just adjust the thickness and see what it does, or maybe adjust just the length of something and see what it does, or maybe define the muscles a bit more and see what it does. Like you can just take one small element, one property, and change it up. Like you can start out there if you kind of want to play around with body builds of equestrian and try to create your own. Kind of think of what you kind of want. Do you want a fragile something? Then make something thinner or something like that, like the legs or maybe the body or something like a very thin body. Although that might it's worth a try, because maybe once you try it out you might think now it looks like he's starving or she's starving to death, and then maybe you'll have to do something else, but it's worth a try. Yeah, like otherwise you might not be finding out things like that. So, and also just you can just variate on everything, like the neck length or the shape. Instead of round, you can go with a square jaw, like Mr. Cake has. He has quite a square jaw. Quite a matured square jaw. Things like that. And then Mrs. Cake is quite roundish and such. And then let's see. Then oh god, how does one do this? Snowflake does have because Snowflake has so many is so defined. He might be one of the harder ones to actually draw properly, kind of, or at least from my mind. Like he has quite defined muscles. Like if this is kind of his rear, and then tiny wings here, of course. Kind of he has all his muscles are really defined, and kind of also something in his legs that is kind of funny. Um, if you look at superhuman kind of things, uh, the classic stereotypes are usually triangles, like big, strong upper body, and then thinner lower legs, kind of like a big chest here, like a manly face, or block face up here, like Superman kind of build, like which usually involves quite a thin, like an upside down, downwards pointing triangle, and they actually applied that to Snowflake as well in his legs, uh, which kind of which is fun to see because it kind of makes sense that they use that stereotype for him, since he's kind of meant to represent this big muscular thing, this strong entity, which this triangle Superman kind of shape, kind of archetype, uh, kind of brings. So yeah, bodybuild archetypes, kind of. So that's it's kind of fun to see how they try to incorporate that into him, and well, things like, oh god, this again. I'm just going to quite kind of rush through this. He has really defined like the muscles here, so like with if there's any pony where you might want to study real life horse anatomy, it would be Snowflake, because he uses quite a bit of defined muscles that are based on real life horses. Uh, like here, so depending on which direction you go, how much you kind of adjust things, you might need to do different things. Like with featherweight, you can just stick to the normal show style and just adjust that, but with Snowflake you'd kind of really require some knowledge of the kind of muscle structures underneath to kind of help support the all the different lines and defining lines of it in here. So yeah, and then a big chin, of course, and then the nose, like maybe looking up, and the tiny eyes, or something, or well, yeah, like kind of that idea. So there's that, and I think my first hour is almost done. So yeah, uniques. Did I forget any, or did I do any that I might be able to cover? I guess the saddle Arabia horses maybe kind of they are slightly defined in muscles as well, but yeah, I'm in the Q&A part, so or almost. So if anyone has any questions or something, drop it in the chat, and I'll get to that. Also, oh my, that's that link. My favorite body type. Well, any body type that is Applejack, I suppose. What am I into? Applejack? Applejack. 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 I guess I can maybe kind of go into a body type. Let's maybe play around with Applejack can eat all my souls. My soul is an Applejack. Let's see if I can play around with some body types while the questions, like unless there's a question I need to draw out, or something specifically that some of you might want to see that I might have missed kind of here. Like, I guess I guess I could do a Saddle Arabia horse. Oh god, I actually have no idea how they actually shaped. I guess they have somewhat defined front. Muscle connection thingies of the legs. They are a lot closer than real life horses. Oh, nature is attacking me. Oh god, I have actually no idea what they really had in mind with those. I really wish to see more of them, since they were not exactly the biggest. Like Celestia is still bigger. Yeah. So but they do have quite similar features to what Celestia has, which kind of begs the question: how much of a pony is Celestia really? Like, who are you? Or Celestia maybe the part of the older gene seeds that predates any of the horses and ponies out there. Who knows? Who knows? Celestia knows. Who knows if Luna knows? I don't. I don't know. Nobody knows. Celestia's secret. So yeah. Let's see. Which construction drawing the back circle should be larger? I don't see this. A larger back circle. Yeah. I guess it kind of depends on what you're used to. I'm more used to drawing outside of the circle. It both kind of works as long as it kind of it can both slightly work. And I guess like when talking about the face, I guess the reason why in the face I tend to make the circle smaller than the actual face is of how the human skull kind of works. The human skull is kind of a circle and then an additional jaw underneath, so it goes outside of the circle right away from the start. So that's maybe why I kind of tend to go outside of the circle rather than inside. So I guess it kind of depends on what your approach is, but I think most of it works. Like when I create a pony head, I tend to make the nose like outside as well, kind of like what I do with the human skulls, and then the backside kind of going outside as well. And I suppose you're kind of talking about the ones where the nose is kind of inside, I think, or I've not really looked into this, so I might be completely wrong here, but yeah, I'm kind of, this is, I guess there might be some difference between between how one would approach construction drawing. Although I think in the end, it doesn't necessarily matter what approach you exactly take, as long as it kind of works for you, and if it kind of works in combination with what you are doing uh, at that moment. Uh, so for ponies, it might be more useful for you to kind of use work inside the circle and such, and in other cases maybe outside or something, or uh, and the like especially with faces with the heads like the ones from Celestia and such, and this one. And also, what I sometimes just skip the circle uh, right away because, well, in due time you might be just skipping it, but it can prove really useful to at least have that knowledge, be aware of the circle, and always you can always fall back onto it if something uh, goes wrong or anything. So. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers it. And those things. Yeah, I guess this topic, this entire bodybuild topic, I kind of wish I was kind of a cartoon artist, because that might have been quite fun. Because they tend to play in cartoons, you tend to play around a lot with kind of proportions and such, and those kind of things. Um, Also, I guess realistic. I guess all of it can kind of play around, but in different ways. I guess I mentioned cartoonish because that is quite close to what the show is, the show style and such. Like if you look at caricatures, those are mostly faces, but can also apply to bodies, of course. The different body builds, caricatures of bodies and such, where you really go and exaggerate something, and something becomes is technically completely unrealistic, but aesthetically really pleasing and such. But that's something you can play around with, and that can actually be quite fun to explore at times, to see what you can do, what you can change, and such. But like I already mentioned, uh, was that it can still be useful to first thoroughly learn the basic shape, the basic idea uh, of that what you are changing. First learning what you are changing before you apply any change at all, kind of thing. Kind of what if you don't know what you're working with, it's kind of hard to adjust it, kind of thing. Uh, so yeah, let's see. Did I miss any other? Was the question answered properly? It's just 20 minutes to go, so I have time for more questions if there are any. Uh, oh wait, did did I miss? Oh, I completely looked over it. Oh, sorry. Uh, in normal construction, the back circle, does that usually include the hips, or is it just the part of the pelvis the hips attached to? Um, so the thighs and such, kind of this one, I suppose. Let's see, what do I actually do with that? Um, I guess for me, let's see. For me, I primarily look at the circle as like the top back of the flank, I suppose, and it can slightly be an indicator of where kind of. I guess I don't necessarily use the exact circle as a positioning for the tie. Uh, Although it kind of I guess for me it kind of goes back into the humans again, although with horses and such kind of applies differently. Or well, with humans you have the torso, which is the rib cage, which is usually one shape, and then um, the pelvis, the hip bones and such, which is usually one shape, and then in between it's connected. Such, and then I guess with ponies it's kind of the same thing. My circle defines a bit more this part, the hip bones and such, rather than the leg. Like the leg kind of attaches on top of that here. So I guess with ponies I kind of do the same. So I just go outside of it for the ties. Like especially underneath, especially since the belly, like the circle for me kind of defines how high the belly area is, or the stomach, or the lower part. So that's kind of for me, especially since if you kind of look at some of the ponies, like if you include the thigh, like especially with Celestia, it goes down a lot further, downwards a lot further than say with the stallions or the normal average ponies, where the thigh might just as well be right next to the body, or the kneecap, kind of like the knee is a lot lower down here with the princess body builds compared to them, where it's kind of at the same level of the body. So I guess that's also why I tend to keep the circle focused around the body rather than the leg, because the leg can vary outside of its range. So that's kind of my reasoning behind that area. Scooby zoom. Brush delay. There's actually barely any brush delay. I think the brush delay is more because of a bit of lag, which might be going on. I might have to close down some things. Yeah, after the workshop I'll check what my settings are of that. But yeah, circles. So let's see. It's kind of horsey horses. Let's see. Is there something I could maybe cover? Mules. Muriela. I have actually no idea how they use donkeys. Donkeys. I'll leave those for another time, I think. Males, griffins, buffaloes, changelings. Changelings are roughly a variation on normal ponies, I'd say. Let's maybe go on a variation of some pipsqueak or something, trying to make some variations on things. So let's create a little ball of dough, and let's knead it into something else. Like pipsqueak, I think, had the bit more boxy box-shaped head. And then a funny little nose there. So there's that, and then there's like quite thin, bit thinner legs than the other fillies, or a lot less triangular than the others, which kind of along the lines of what featherweight kind of does, except less exaggerated. And then there's the spots on him and such, and this might not exactly feel like Pipsqueak, but oh well. Who knows how he looks like after Nightmare Moon eats him again. Nom 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 nom. It's like a little doggy. Bark bark, bark bark. Bark bark bark. Maybe it has a little belly or something. Like you can play around with those kind of proportions nicely. You could even just like make, oh god, this kind of looks like a llama almost. Okay, now it's just starting to look like a different animal, I suppose. So yeah, hey, maybe I can try to make this like a male version of the princesses or something. Let's see if we can do that, make it feel like a prince. Prince, Princey Prince. I'll name him that. It's Princey Prince. Like with a wonderful mane going upwards instead of downwards or something. I don't know. Oh god, what did I do? Oh, I removed it, so. What did I do? Princey Prince, what are you doing? You have quite thick thighs. Why do I always make my thighs so thick? You have quite thin hooves. Maybe I should make it a bit thicker or something. Let's see if that actually works. Let's see. Oh god, it looks kind of out of proportion. You're looking out of proportion, little prince. What are you doing? How much time do I have? About 10 minutes. Then I'll go into the closing words before the general art will start. Well, unless you're watching this on YouTube, of course, I suppose. Oh no. Raw edits to YouTube. Which it will be on YouTube. So, did I miss any questions? Nope, I don't think I did. I guess this kind of turned into topic-based playing around. I guess this is more or less just playing around, I suppose. Maybe he needs like a tall forehead. Principal, Prince. Or wait, I guess the first prince title is of course already included in the principal part. Principal Celestia. Dear Principal Celestia. The legs are slightly too thick now, maybe. Oh, it's like a royal. Of course, it needs to be an alicorn. Like that, and maybe like a giant horn. Tiny horn. Yeah. Smaller horn. Tiny, tiny, glorious mane. And of course, needs a crown. Like 2 spikes. Hey, now it's starting to look like Sombra. Or makes me think of Sombra. Sombra. Smaller mane. Mane is not exactly part of the body builds thingy, but oh well. There we go. Prince, Princey, Prince. Oh god, this leg is sticking out so far. Down there. Let's bring you over there. Oh no. So put that there. No, you go there. So okay, maybe in the last 9 minutes I can maybe include something else, or maybe another question if a question pops up. Maybe I should try the saddle Arabia horses again. I kind of already had kind of a start here, but ooh, maybe I should. Ooh, maybe maybe an old princess. Kind of seeing how the elder pony thingies apply to the princesses. Maybe, although that might slightly be hard because I need to alter their face shapes, kind of. So let's take that layer. Oh no, why do we have to be so tall? Pipsqueak, move. So some more wrinkles, more defined thingies here, such. Of course, the curves, maybe the belly is like wrinkles here. Another layer here, maybe like, I am so old. Princess Oldestia. Saggy, sagging parts, like a drooping chin, or something like that. Like, let's make Celestia old, ancient, although she already is ancient, so much for that. Who knows how old she really is? Oh, she's like the Big Bang, of Equestria. Like boom, suddenly ponies. Because sense made bin has. Ooh, maybe some more wrinkles down there by the oof, the Celestian explosion. Oh, I guess boom, suddenly ponies kind of applies to a lot of people's lives, I think. Like one day I woke up and then boom, suddenly there they were. Or there she was in my face. projects, and I liked it. So how could I not do that? Let's see, the lips kind of retract inwards slightly, almost duck face created. Elder duck faces, of course. Respect your elders. Otherwise they duck face you. Wait, what? Anyhow, 5 minutes to go. I guess. Oh god, I'm so bad at multitasking. Otherwise, I would just say the final words or something. Wait, how many minutes do I actually have to go according to this? Yeah, 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, 5 minutes. I was actually correct. Oh god. Oh god, it's the end of the world. Anyhow, yeah. Let's maybe talk about some things that about the workshop. Which I've already also put in my journal, is that although maybe not in the near future, but after that, like I still have quite some topics that definitely sound interesting and worthwhile. But after that, I might switch the workshops over from a weekly event to a bi-weekly event. I'm not entirely sure about that yet, but I think that might be happening eventually. I don't know when. But then at the same time, I'm also thinking of at least doing something for that to fill up kind of the gap. Maybe do some reoccurring challenges or something like that. Something not specifically workshop, but just something. And I guess it's mainly I'm mainly thinking of this because some topics might require a bit of preparation and such, and um, like I'm doing the voting, of course, and maybe I could divide it as in the first week being the voting part, and then in the second week it's decided, and then by the end of the second week the workshop takes place. Like maybe during that second week, maybe some having it open for kind of what the viewers want to see. Like as of now, the polls they work nicely, and but then the topic gets settled so late that there might I don't know if there's if it's even needed some time between the final decision of which topic gets chosen and the actual workshop for maybe some question gathering, sending in questions or something, or things you specifically want to see regarding those topics, the chosen topic, maybe something along those lines. Maybe like there's different things going on in my mind that which for which I might switch over to bi-weekly and such setup. But that is still kind of open for me. I'm not yet really decided on that. 1 minute to go for me. Other than that, next week there will be a topic. I think I'll just put a new poll up. Although I might not add in a new one yet. I might try to exhaust the current list of topics, and then once it is exhausted, I will create a new list to kind of prevent older topics from just missing out on being chosen over and over again, like hairstyles. Nom 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 nom. Uh, Also, in a way, I kind of do want color theory, of course, uh, and such. But that will be on DeviantArt, so the poll, which seems to be most effective. Also, my premium is running out, so I might have to do a little donation pool in case there's interest for that. But anyhow, in the last seconds, I will be here again next week, or the workshop will be happening again next week. So there's that. The poll will be on DeviantArt again, like usual. But for now, thank you all for stopping by. I'll continue in the general art after the break. So, thank you all, and maybe till next time.